What's up everyone? Welcome to Investing with Adam. I'm your host Adam. Today we are covering house hacking, or how to buy a house and have it cost you less than rent. It's no surprise that pretty much everyone out there needs somewhere to live and would like to live there at zero cost. Plus, I'm also sure that virtually everyone out there would like to own real estate at some point in their life. Enter the house hack. Keep in mind, this isn't for everybody. It does take some effort on your part. It is not completely stress-free, simple-free, easy to do, butterflies and rainbows, but it can save you an exceptional amount of money. Let's start off with a story here. So when I first moved to Edmonton, I was in the military and I was living on base, and I actually had to share a room, zero privacy, zero anything, one bathroom, one open bedroom, two guys. Needless to say, not so much fun. So I decided I wanted to rent somewhere. I wasn't quite sure I wanted to buy it, so I decided to rent a home. I'm personally not a fan of apartments, so I wanted a single family home. I settled on a bungalow in the west end of the city, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, fully finished home with a detached garage, because I personally like to work on cars, so I wanted somewhere I could have some hobbies, some projects, and just enjoy myself. I ended up renting this property. It cost me $1,200 a month in rent, plus of utilities, which came to around $500 a month. So all in, my costs were $1,700 a month. But I ended up bringing 3 other military members with me, because then at least that way we each had our own bedroom and it would save me a lot of money. I charged them each $500 a month. They all had their own rooms. They paid $1,500 total. I ended up out of pocket costing close to about $200 to $300 a month to live. So my living costs were $300 a month. I had a detached garage to build my projects in and have fun, a huge rear deck to have barbecues, bonfires in the backyard, all that kind of great stuff, and my cost of living was next to nothing. So what I'm going to teach you in this video is how to do something similar, but instead of renting the property, you actually own the property, and the property can end up paying you money to live in it. Here's how we do that. And before we get started on that though, remember, this isn't going to be all sunshine, rainbows, lollipops, and everything nice. When you live with multiple other people, in my case, I lived with 4 dudes in one house, myself, 3 other guys. We shared 1 kitchen, 2 bathrooms, and it's not always great. You might argue over dishes, you might argue over food, you might have an argument about groceries, all that kind of stuff, the lawn maintenance, the shoveling. Little things tend to happen. You're living in that case, we were living in 850 square feet. It's not gonna be perfect, but it did save me $1,500 a month. So in my opinion, it was worth it. On that note, let's dive in. First step is to find the right house. In this situation, we're looking for a bungalow property because it usually offers the most amount of bedrooms, and we're looking for something with a legal basement suite. 3 up, 2 down for bedrooms, a full bath, at least 1 upstairs, 1 downstairs, and a detached garage, ideally a double detached garage. So with those numbers in hand, I found a property that we can use for an example. It's located on the north side of the city, right around 137 Ave, 127th Street, close to a lot of shopping on a main bus route. Easy access for people, easy access to get around the city, and the price point is right where we'd like to look at, which is close to the $450,000 mark. This one in this case is $445,000, but we're gonna round it to $450,000 for easy math. Now that we have the house, let's take a look at the drawing board and write out all the numbers. So at a $450,000 purchase price, we added a bit more money for costs. Your 5% down is $22,500. Lawyer, miscellaneous closing costs, that kind of stuff. Let's round it up to a total cost up front of $25,000. On that, your mortgage payment, principal and interest would cost approximately $2,000. Your land taxes on this specific property are going to average around $230 a month. Insurance, approximately $120. Utilities, we'll give it at about $500 a month, which gives you a total operating cost on this property of $2,850 per month. If you were to just buy a house like this, pay $450,000, put $25,000 of your own money down, it would still cost you almost $3,000 a month to live there. This is where the hack comes in. In this case, we're gonna rent the main floor for $1,500 a month. We're gonna rent out a basement room for $500 a month. We're gonna rent the garage out for $200 a month. And we're gonna live in the basement in a room to ourselves. Your total rent from all that would end up being approximately $2,200 a month, which leaves you with an after housing costs expense of $650 per month out of pocket. Now, even at that, you're now controlling an almost $500,000 asset in real estate, and it's only costing you $650 a month, which is actually a pretty close cost to a month's rent of a room. And you're getting an entire property. Now, that's all well and good, but how do we get this to look even better? This is where principal paydown comes in. Principal paydown is approximately 50-50. For the first 5 years, you're going to be paying about $1,000 a month in interest, $1,000 a month in principal paydown. I know that sounds like a lot of money, but that's on a loan for $427,000 for 25 years. You got to pay some interest to get a mortgage. But here's where it looks fantastic. Principal paydown, $1,000 a month. Your monthly living expenses subtracted from that of $650 means that your house is actually accumulating a positive $350 a month every month you live there. That means that you have technically zero living costs and you're actually profiting $350 a month on average, or close to $20,000 in the first 5 years. If we were to talk total principal paydown, that number is going to be close to $62,000 after 5 years, and that's not including any potential market inflation, because we have been kind of flat lately. That's not including any rental increases. That's not including anything above what you paid for it to what got paid down from your tenants, and you're going to be ahead on that property by about $62,000 after 5 years, and it's going to cost you next to nothing to live there. Now that, right where it is a pretty sweet setup all by itself. But let's add in another little detail that makes this an even easier way to live, because you now live in a pretty much convertible house. Let me demonstrate. So when you do it to start off with, you're gonna have your main floor rented, you're gonna have the basement room rented out, and you're gonna have the garage rented out, which means you're kind of almost like renting a room in your own house, but you own the house. Now, let's say you decide to get into a relationship, and that spouse moves in with you, and you start feeling a little bit cramped in the basement with the two of you and this roommate in there. So you X the roommate. Now you have the whole basement suite to yourself. You're still making $1,700 a month, which is offsetting your cost of living. You have the whole basement to yourself. Life's still grand. But we continue down the road. And you decide, hey, it's getting serious. Let's have a couple of kids. It's not so much fun to have 2 kids in a basement suite, stairs constantly, sharing a room. That's not so great. So you decide you want to move upstairs. You kick out the main floor tenants, and you want the extra space in the garage because kids have a lot of stuff. So you kick out the garage tenants, the main floor tenants, the house is completely yours. You now have the 3 bedrooms up for you and the kids. You have the basement suite that you can use for in-laws, for family members that want to come visit you, for friends that want to stay with you, or whatever it is to help you get through the kid living phase. And you have the whole garage to yourself for storage or for your sanity, because sometimes you just need a little bit of time away from the kids. So now you're paying for the whole place yourself, but you never had to move once. You didn't have to pay any cost to sell. You didn't have to do anything. You got to establish your life in that neighborhood and stay in that neighborhood, because you could now take over the entire house for you and your family. But now let's say it's another couple years down the road. Maybe income isn't as high as you'd like, or you want to start doing more trips, or you want to put the kids in certain schools or certain programs, and it's getting a little tight to live. Well, now you can just decide that you want to re-rent the basement back out for $1,200 to $1,300 a month. So you start renting the basement back out again, and your living expenses are almost cut in half. So you have the option to save some cash or protect yourself in the event of a market shift or a job market shift in that same residence. So this house has become almost a convertible property, and then say farther down the road, you've decided that you want a 2-story, you want a more modern property, you want to change areas of the city you want to live in. Great. Instead of selling the property, you just keep the property, leverage the equity you have in this property after having it for 5 or 10 years, use that as your down payment for your next property, keep this as a double suited rental property, and then you're gaining some cash flow on this property. It's still paying you down. You have another property you can live in. And now you're more than $1 million in real estate and life is just fantastic. So in summary, instead of paying somebody else's mortgage down and having no money getting built up for yourself, paying a crazy amount of money for living expenses, because even if you rented a 2-bedroom apartment for $1,500 a month, say, and you hacked that property and brought a roommate in, and it only cost you $1,000 a month, that's still costing you $12,000 per year out of pocket, whereas this property we just talked about is gonna net you approximately $350 a month in positive equity, and over 5 years, it's 20 grand that's gonna net you instead of costing you $60,000 in rent. This is just one method of potential house hacks that are out there to help offset your cost of living, get you farther ahead and into real estate success, living success, life success, and putting some more cash into your pocket. Thanks again for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and share this video with anyone that you might think could find some use out of it. Because we want to get this information out to everybody so that people feel more educated, more informed, and more confident to make some fantastic decisions and start building some equity and some wealth through real estate. As always, feel free to reach out to me anytime and we can sit down one-on-one, go over your goals, go over your plans, and get you on the right path to real estate goals, real estate dreams, whatever it is you want to do. I'm here to help. Thanks again for watching. Hope you have an awesome day and we will catch you on the next one.